Welcome back to Purple Collar Life. You can see I've got the Polaris Ranger going. We've got a project more to the end of the driveway today. Somebody else's error, let's say, has now become my problem. We have had a ton of rain this week and we have not gone unscathed. A lot of places around us have been flooded and we've actually had some flooding here in the driveway. Let me show you what has happened. So everything between the driveway and the main road is a basin that comes down this way. When we first put the driveway in, you can see how that water all flows this way. And it only took about a year of having the driveway in. This section kept getting washed out. So I had a guy come in, dig a trench across the driveway and put a piece of casing in, which you can see right here. So that is a 6-inch piece of steel casing like would be used in the oil and gas industry. There's a lot of that around here, but it's buried under the driveway and it comes out on this other side. And I actually showed you guys last fall how when the electric company came in and cleared the right-of-way, they ran over top of this thing with their big grinder machine. They crushed my pipe, and you can see it's all crushed. You can see where they ran right over it. And the problem we've been having is with all this water, on Thursday night last week, this whole area was just full of water. The pipe couldn't handle it because the pipe can't get 6 inches out of the drain. So it started flowing across this section of the driveway to the point where not only was it flowing across the driveway here, but it was going along this edge of the driveway right out onto the main road. So today what I'd like to see if I can do, I brought the, oh, here's what you can see. You can see all the tar and chip gravel that it washed over the edge here as the water was pouring across the driveway. So we'll try to rake that back into the driveway, but I made a video recently about the mistakes made in tar and chip. One of them was that there weren't 2 layers of tar and chip put down. The other one was that there wasn't enough tar to hold all the chip. So that's part of the problem with that. But my goal today is to see if I can cut this off right about here before the point where it's collapsed and let more water flow out. I brought a couple things with me for the project. Pair of safety glasses because we're cutting metal, some gloves because that will be sharp, the rigid 18-volt hacksaw with a metal blade. If you're wondering why is that thing so filthy black, it's because I've used this to cut the IBC tote bladders from the bladders that held black dye for mulch, and it just gets everywhere. So this is now all covered in black. I brought a 2x4 kind of as a pry bar to maybe pry that pipe up a little bit, but I'm not sure even if a metal blade on a rigid hacksaw will cut through steel casing. That is pretty thick metal. It's not what you'd typically cut through with a hacksaw. You'd probably use like a plasma cutter, but we'll give it a try. There we can see where a lot of the problem's coming from. It's totally pinched right here. So that would greatly decrease the volume of water that can get through there. I've got a big rock here to the side that I may have to take out just to get the recip saw in there to cut that off. It's really hard on this blade. Probably destroyed the blade cutting this. It's super windy out. I might have to do voiceover over all of this, but we were able to get that end of the pipe cut. I wasn't sure if the rigid hacksaw would cut through it. It did destroy the blade, but at least we cut through that casing. Probably only because it's been here for 20 years and it's weaker than when it was original. I also opened up this end where the water goes in, so that's much better now. And then you go across the driveway here. Here's where we cut it off. It's still pinched right there, more than I thought it would be. But here's the chunk that I cut off that was really pinched. What the pinch was doing was allowing all the leaves to build up inside at the pinch and clog the whole drain. So hopefully now it should be better. We're at the point now where a heavy rain would actually help us out. It would help flush the leaves through the rest of that pipe. And I've actually been considering getting a piece of 5-inch PVC or even 4-inch PVC and driving it from one end all the way through to the other end. That casing is really starting to rot at the bottom, and I think that's part of our problem. When the metal rots, you know, it flakes up in rust, and I think that's probably actually catching the leaves. So part of the problem was it was pinched off. That was probably a huge part of the problem. But the other problem is this casing is slowly eroding underneath our driveway. And I don't want to have to dig up this tar and chip to put a new piece of line in. So I might get some 4-inch heavy-duty PVC, see if I can drive it the whole way through across the driveway. Probably need 20 feet of it, and maybe that would last us another 30 years. Who knows? I don't know if 4-inch would move enough water when it rains really hard like that. So leave your comments down below. Should I try to drive a piece up in there? Should I leave it as is, because it's basically a 6-inch crescent at this point for the water to come through? Or maybe I should just fix the problem now, dig through that tar and chip, which I hate to do, put a fresh piece of casing in there, maybe an 8-inch piece that goes the whole way across and out here to flush that water from the upper side of the driveway down here into the right-of-way. After those guys pinched this off with their equipment doing the right-of-way, I knew I'd have to do something about it. I kind of let it go, obviously too long, because we got those heavy spring rains and it flooded across the driveway. But at least now I've done what I can immediately to get that flowing a little bit more open and hopefully keep that from happening again in the next big heavy rainstorm. We've been having a lot of rain lately. That means the grass is going to grow really well. It also means we're gonna be wet pretty far into the summer at Purple Color Life. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you again the next time. I do swing over in this area when I've got the fifth wheel on behind the big F350 long bed crew cab. So what I'll probably do is drive a stake in on one side of that pipe just so I know, hey, this is the edge, don't swing your front end further than that, because I don't want the other side to go into this ditch. So we'll put a marker there so that not only me, but everybody coming in the driveway knows that's where there is a drainage ditch. You can see on my metal blade, in here where it was cut at that metal, look at those teeth. They are just nubs compared to out here. They're still sharp like they should be. So that is what happens when you cut through metal casing with a reciprocating saw and a metal blade. Figured I'd give you a quick look at how high the creek is down here where we've got our ATV bridge. It's flowing pretty good. This is downstream from our house. This is between the original homestead and our house. It's pretty deep in there. You can see it was, when it was high earlier in the week, you can see where it washed all across here, so it was over the bridge. That whole area down there and the right of way was totally full. Bridge still looks okay. Looks like maybe the water did lift it up and slide it. You can see it had been up on top of that 4x4 as a support. So yes, it did move down a little bit. You can see where the water washed all the leaves up against it there. We kind of have to inspect this before we drive anything over it. Water flows down through there. Kind of snakes through the woods there.